Never, never stop. It is a marathon, not a sprint. My editor of my first book used to say, I'd rather have a consistent seller over a bestseller.
Okay.
Because I would say, oh, I really want to make the New York Times bestsellers. And she's like, Neil, most of those books are like, boop, boop. They're like, pop on, pop off. I'd rather have a consistent seller than a bestseller.
Welcome back. This is a 9-part series with Neil Pasricha on how to sell 1 million plus books. Today is episode 9, Never, Never Stop. What do you got, man?
Okay, well, we've done 2 parts already on the book launch. Remember, sowing the seeds, hustling for the launch, where you got to grind for 3 to 6 months, pitching like crazy, getting your talking points straight. That, and I said at the beginning of that part, I was like, the number 1 indicator to a book success is how well it does at the launch. Right? So that was really important. Number 2, how well it keeps going. Right? A book can have a great launch and drop off, or a book could be a slow burner out of the gate, and if it keeps slow burning, it might keep slow burning, and that's good too. My editor of my first book used to say, I'd rather have a consistent seller over a bestseller.
Okay.
Because I would say, oh, I really want to make the New York Times bestsellers, and she's like, Neil, most of those books are like, boop, boop. They're like, pop on, pop off. I'd rather have a consistent seller than a bestseller. We talked about Who Moved My Cheese. Did you ever see that in the bestseller list? It's selling way more copies than almost anyone's book, but it's just below the radar, right? Ryan Holiday would call this a perennial seller.
Yep.
Okay, right? So there's a lot of books like that. So how? How do you do that? Never, never stop. It is a marathon, not a sprint. Here's some things I do. Number 1, I put my personal email address in all my books. And in some cases, my address, like PO box, right? But I have a connective tissue right away for people to reach me. Of course, you can do this through socials or use a hashtag, but have a way for people that want to, when they get to the end of your book, reach me.
Okay.
Go ahead. I got an email this morning from a woman like at university saying that this book has changed her life. She wrote me a huge essay and all this stuff. Someone handed it to me. She wouldn't have done that if I didn't have my email. She just wouldn't know how to get in touch with me, right? So that's a great way to connect. Also, when you have your email address public, guess who else contacts you? I'm not kidding. Book clubs in Alaska that want you to Skype in, high school newspapers in the Middle East that are doing a profile on you, like a YouTube channel like mine with hardly any subscribers. Like, you'll get requests up the wazoo. Every single one you say no to is another person who's passionate enough to love your work enough to contact you. So don't say no to any of them. I still do high school newspaper interviews. I do Skype book clubs at least once a week. So I have my assistant schedule me for up to 2 per week, okay? And the only rule she puts in is that it's got to be at least 8 people, and they have to have read one of my books. That's it. But those people tell other people, and they tell other people, and they tell other people. And I'm not going to Alaska. I'm literally on Skype. So it's not like I have to travel. And it's nothing better than sitting in a room, like a living room full of grandmas, and they're like, well, here's what chapter I liked, and here's what I learned, and here's why I got this question for you. I've done them with startups in San Francisco. I literally say at the bottom of my email list, if you want to Skype in, like contact this person, and here's the email address, and we're good. Never, never stop. Never, never stop means never dropping by a bookstore, always stopping and signing. Never, never stop means waiting till the last person in every lineup. I've missed flights before so that the last person can get their book signed. Never, never stop means putting your email address public. Never, never stop means saying yes to every request you get. Doing everything you possibly can to keep sharing the story. It's a marathon, not a sprint. Never stop.
And how do you split that up now? Being you've got all these books. I mean, you're now going to be in promotion mode for this one, but you've sold 1 million of these 2. How do you?
Well,
I mean, helping this helps promote these ones too.
I was just about to say, you answered the question right in the thing. One way to never, never stop is to serialize.
Okay.
One way to never, never stop, and you can ask Jack Canfield on Chicken Soup for the Soul about this, it's if you got something that's working, do another one. Because the sequel sells the original, and the original sells the sequel, right? So there's a reason why Harry Potter has sold, I think, 350 million copies. Crazy. You should really be doing this interview with J.K. Rowling. Sorry that I'm the backup here. But J.K., Joe, as I call her, she'd probably tell you, I would bet money on this, that the first Harry Potter is outsold all the rest. And the reason is because when you come out with Harry Potter 2, people are like, oh, how do I enter the series? I start with Harry Potter 1.
Right.
Similarly, the Book of Awesome goes up every subsequent book I do. And that's another way to never, never stop, is instead of focusing on the promotional and publicity and sales side of it when the book comes out, which is important, we're not going to gloss over that and say that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Spend the time after your hustle, 3 to 6 months, writing the next book. Because then when that comes out and has its own PR and has its own press and has its own TV shows, people go back to the original. And there's no surprise that when You Are Awesome comes out, I'm sure the Book of Awesome will be back on the front tables again.
Right.
Because retailers aren't stupid, publishers aren't stupid. They're like, they'll probably want both.
Especially when the connection is so obvious.
And you got to make it obvious.
Yeah.
To that point earlier, we said about a title.
Right.
Earlier part of the series, the title has to be ownable.
Yeah.
So once you have your, like Jen Sincero, who wrote You Are a Badass, there's no surprise why her next book's called You Are a Badass at Making Money. You are about, like,
right.
Something that and if she doesn't own a word, she can jump. Okay? And some people can do it on their name. I don't think I can. My last name is super hard to pronounce. Neil Pasricha. People can't say it. They can't spell it. Brenda Brown. There's a good name. BB. Sounds good. It's fun to say. Brown. Everyone knows how to say it and spell it. So maybe on her books, Daring Greatly, Dare to Lead, maybe her name is the ownable part.
Well, it's interesting. I was looking at a bunch of naming stories, and one I came across with, I think it was Xerox, which seems like Xerox.
Yeah.
So with an X and with an X.
Yeah.
But he purposely picked a name that was so difficult, but once people got it, they never forgot it.
Yeah.
So once they get Pasricha.
And there's a copy of the X at the end.
Yeah. Once you get Pasricha, you don't forget it. You got
and
it.
at least there's only one. Like when you type in Neil Pasricha, like I got my own, I could
type in Brown.
Yeah, that's tough.
So many Browns.
Yeah, the grass is always greener. I'd rather have Carmichael. You'd rather have Pasricha. It could be ownable anything, but the point is I was trying to make as part of never, never stopping is never, never stopping to write.
Right. So what's the time difference between these two? Or these three, I guess. That's a kid's book. I mean, I guess still related.
So 2010, the first book.
Yeah.
What I don't have here, although I have them back here if you want me to pull them out, is the Book of Even More Awesome 2011, the Book of Holiday Awesome 2011.
Okay. 2 books in 1 year.
Yeah. Don't forget I've also got, then what else comes out is you want it ownable? The Journal of Awesome.
The Journal of
pops
Awesome.
out with the same logo. I got 5 calendars of awesome. Those page-a-day calendars.
Okay,
2012, 2013, that's right. Then the Happiest Equation comes out in this comes out in 2015, 2016.
Okay.
This is 2019. Okay. There's an Audible original in there in the middle. So it's 10 years now, and I'm on 7 books. Right. And I'm 39 years old at the time of this filming. If I'm lucky, I'll keep going.
Right.
The only goal I have in my life, as I'm trying to do it, is make the book good enough that I can do another one. Right? I think the average person writes something like 1.1 books, meaning that 9 out of 10 people stop at 1.
Yeah.
Only 1 out of 10 will write another one, and then again, it's probably less and less and less, right? So I love writing. I really enjoy it. I find it really fun and therapeutic to try to constantly clarify and simplify my own thoughts to myself. This book is something I read when I'm feeling stressed.
Right.
That's why I wrote it, because I was feeling stressed. So still when I'm feeling stressed, I'll read it. So I'm writing to myself. All writing ultimately is quite selfish. You're trying to do something to clarify your own thoughts or to simplify something or to make something clear to you. So all I want is permission to do another one.
And are you writing every day, or are you breaking from writing to do... Well, I guess you said in the previous video you wrote that in the 3-month sprint.
Yeah.
One of these in a 3-month sprint.
Yeah.
So you're in promotion mode for this. This is just ramping up. You got 4 months for this to come out.
Yes.
Then you're going to be in full-time mode promoting it for at least 3 months of just all day, every day.
I mean, and part of that is also just doing every request that comes in, every radio station that comes in, every high school newspaper, just saying yes to everything.
And then when do you start writing the next book?
So the next book is already being written.
While you're doing the promotion. Okay.
No. So I've already started it now. I'm in the process of writing it now. It's all about trust. Okay, that's what my theme is focused on. So the way I'm doing it is I wrote a new speech about trust. I did it at South by Southwest. I stress tested the ideas that way. I've been doing a year of research where it's sitting in the back of my mind. I've hired a research assistant to help me dig up some studies. Then I've written draft of chapters. So it's sitting in the background there. And then, yeah, the goal should be, partly of Never Never Stopping, is try to sell the next book before this book comes out. And the reason you want to do that is...
Sell to publishers? Sell
Yes.
to lit agents?
Yeah,
Got it, okay.
Yeah, because you want to know where you're going, for lack of better words. You want to know what's next for you, and you want to also have some more buy-in and some more proof. Like, the way I think of it is, usually you have 2 books left. So if my next book bombs, and then I have a bomb again, I might be done. I might be kicked out of the pool. 2 bombs in a row, who's going to want me after that? But if you keep having a hit, then you sell the next one in before the, see what I mean? Like you want to try to get the next one ready so that you can then have that cooking while you then work on, like you got to almost be a book ahead.
So before you're saying you wrote that book in 3 months and you spent a year editing it because it's back and forth. But is it during editing time that you're then working on the next one?
But I wish I could say there's one clear answer, but don't forget the Book of Awesome was literally a daily blog.
Right.
So this one was written every single day for 4 years. That turned into 3 books. Yes, I wrote that. This one took 9 months. My wife told me she was pregnant. I wrote it while she was pregnant till we had the baby, and then she had the baby. I shouldn't say that. She had the baby, not me. And then otherwise you get slapped. You didn't have a baby. Well, you didn't even carry the thing. So that book then I had written over the 9 months. This one I wrote in a 3-month sprint, partly because I've been so much busier now that in order to write now, I'm like, cut away speeches, cut away promotion, cut away media. Don't do anything, like don't do any meetings. Just take 3 months to write it. So it's more intentional to write today than it was when I started, where I was just doing like an essay a day.
Right.
So that's just my life right now. I might tell you next time we do a video that I've got a new system, but my current system is carve out time if you're going to get it done. Otherwise, it won't get done.
So in the editing of this, is that when you're then writing the next one on trust?
Stephen King, yes. Stephen King would say it takes 3 months to write a book. So you write a book for 3 months. Remember, though, this I said earlier, is that you hand it into the publisher.
Right.
Now, what are you doing? You're twiddling your thumbs.
So for a month to come back.
You're writing the next one. Then when that one comes back, you haven't looked at it in so long that it seems fresh to you, and you've got all the edits. You've maybe written the next one or half the next one. It comes back. So you have to have a couple on the go in order to keep rotating. And all the editing process is, though, by the way, is this really slow hot potato back and forth. So there's tons of time there to write if you're like, well, I handed this one in, so now I can write that one. So
it's hustle while you wait.
Hey, that's a good phrase. Yeah.
That's not mine.
I like that.
I wanted to say Mark Twain, but I don't remember.
Mark Twain. Mark Twain never said hustle, did he?
I think you should look
Abraham
it up.
Lincoln. I think it was from the Bible, that one. No, I'm just kidding.
No, look at it. I didn't make it up.
I think you own it. That's ownable.
That's ownable.
I don't know a book that's called Hustle While You Wait.
Hustle while you wait. But that's basically what you're saying. Like you're waiting, so I'm not just going to twiddle my thumbs. I'm going to hustle on the next one.
Yeah. I should also maybe at this point in this series mention that I don't watch television. The thing that's missing so far from the conversation is like Neil doesn't not do free time very well.
Okay.
So it's like family, work, and that's, it's like I don't kind of like chill on the couch and stare at the ceiling much.
Well, it's intentional.
Because I'm spending my time doing stuff I purposely want to do. But when people say, hey, did you see the news? I'm like, no. They're like, did you read the newspaper? No. Did you check out the latest magazine issue about this? Nope. Did you check out this new thing on Netflix? I'm like, no. So part of what I want the viewer to be aware of throughout this entire conversation that we're having is I'm making trade-offs, like we all are. Life is about trade-offs. So if you want to sell 1 million books, there's got to be trade-offs. And one of them is I don't really know what's on Netflix and what's in the news. Lots more, but those are just a couple that come to mind.
So the life cycle of making a book and promoting it is about 3 years?
Hilariously, yes.
From thinking about the idea and writing it and then
submitting it, getting it purchased.
But what's
a year of editing, and then there's a year of titling, cover, distribution, sales,
promotion.
Yeah, it's really I think it's like 2 to 3 years.
But then on top of it,
some people take 10 years. So you might take 7 years to write it.
Sure, right.
Like
especially the first one.
Yeah.
But if it's 3 years, it's not 3 years, and then next 3 years they're stacked.
Yes.
So like 1 year, and then so you're working on like 3 books at the same time almost.
Everybody can do it differently. The other thing that we're missing from this conversation is how many books did you sell to a publisher? So this was a single book deal.
Yeah.
This was a double book deal. So I've sold 2 books to my publisher now, so the next one's already purchased.
The trust one.
Yeah, the trust one, right? So before that one comes out, which maybe that's in 2020 or 2021, before that comes out, my goal would be to Genesis, think on, write my next thing,
right,
and then sell that in. So I've got the next thing cooking too. Yeah,
What's
Gretchen Rubin, author of The Happiness Project, told me that. She's like, I always sell in the book after the one I'm working on so that I have my next project kind of starting to go.
And that's great for repeat authors, right? But your first one, you're not going to sell a 3-part deal.
Of course.
Right?
Actually, some first-time authors, you have a big blog audience, you have a big email list, you have a big platform, you have a proven concept. Somehow you've proved the concept. They might get a double book deal out of the gate, or a triple book deal, or five book deal, but they might not even want that.
Okay.
You know, like you might on the 3rd or 4th book be like, I wish I was not in this thing. I wish I was doing something else. So it all depends. Some people play the game for a big advance. Some people play small advance. Let's try to sell the books and then get permission to do another one. You know.
What's your thought on advance, no advance?
Well, I should probably take a small break to tell people how advances work.
Okay.
So advances are against royalties. So say you get a $50,000 advance, and say you get a $1 per book sold, okay, which is average is about $1 per paperback, $3 a hardcover. That's a relatively average industry amount. So say you're doing a paperback book, you get $1 per book. You have to then sell 50,000 copies of that book to get up to your advance before every incremental sale counts for your royalties. Meaning, it's not like getting a big advance is necessarily just good in and of itself. It's now a much higher bar you have to cross in your sales to then exceed in order to both earn out, it's called, you earn out your royalties, but also more importantly, make the publisher money, make you money, and give yourself permission to do another one, right? So getting a huge first-time advance might sound good on paper, but I would be very skeptical and scared of that personally, because I'd be like, well, what if this thing doesn't do it? Then I might not get another chance. And for me, I like the chances. I want to keep writing. I want to keep doing this. That's why I'm making this video. I like talking about books. I live in bookstores. I'm in bookstores almost every day. I literally know booksellers in every bookstore and anywhere I have 3 bookstores open until midnight, walking distance from my house. Every night they're open till midnight. So I literally can go by. I know people that work till 11. I'm there all the time. I love books. So all I want is permission to keep going. Therefore, I don't care about the advances. I want permission to keep going. I want to keep doing this. And then if the books keep selling, of course you earn out your advances, same money back to you.
Yeah.
So then of course you get permission to keep going because everyone wants more books from you.
Yeah. So once again, this is a 10-part series on how to sell 1 million+ books with Neil Pasricha. Coming up is episode 10, How to Get Lucky. Go watch the video. I'm excited. Believe.